Good morning. I'm Carl Mingers. This is Aaron Burns. We are WRME Live. We are Main Edge. All right. Hey, how you like our new wall?
Ooh, yes.
Isn't that great?
We have volume.
Oh, we got sound in there?
We do.
All
I was
right.
making sure.
April 5th,
It's
2024.
popping up with little words.
Quarter of the year is damn near over. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Episode 233. Man, there's just so much stuff going on in real estate right now. And, of course, everybody's freaked out over the NAR decision.
If you don't know what NAR is, National Association of Realtors, you got to
Yep.
remember not everybody
I forget,
knows.
not everybody knows these things. And don't believe half of what you see on the news because they don't know. Okay? It's crazy. And it'll all come out in the wash. It's going to shake up a few things.
Yes.
But, good realtors have already been practicing the buyer-broker agreement. Pretty
so,
much, right?
yes. But if you haven't seen what's going on, the whole debacle is...
Debacle.
Debacle. It's the best way to put
That's
it.
the best way to put it.
Because if you see every little thing and all you're hearing, it's crazy. So the whole debacle is the fee, the commission, the percentage, the cost, they're throwing out all these words of what the sellers are paying the buyer's agent, realtor, to help the buyers purchase the house. So
Well, the big deal is we've always been able to put the compensation that we're going to share. Say if it's a 6% commission and we're going to share 3%, we've always been able to put that in MLS.
Let's put it this way though. So the seller, say Carl's selling a property and I'm listing it for him. We negotiate. It's not a set fee. It never has been.
No.
Never has been. We negotiate that percentage.
Mm-hmm.
He agrees to pay the listing brokerage, my brokerage, a fee. 6%, 5%, 10%, whatever percentage.
I like those 10% ones.
I know.
Till I'm paying them.
But I've done ones for 5, I've done ones for 6. You never do straight across the board. We negotiate that. Then, us as the listing brokerage, we share that with the selling brokerage. And we discuss that and we explain that we're going to take this percentage and this is how we use it. We keep 3, and with that 3, brokerage gets part of it, we get part of it, my percent, it goes towards marketing, it goes towards, taxes, it goes towards this, that. There's a lot that goes into everything, and everybody gets their piece of the pie.
Mm-hmm.
Because we spend money before we make money.
Absolutely. Definitely do.
Lots. Photos, marketing. I mean, you name it. That's just a little bit of it.
Those little postcards everybody gets in the mail.
Yeah, I mean,
aren't free.
there's lots. Plus, you got mileage, time, all this stuff. And then we offer 3%. That 3%, as much as I wish all my stuff brought a buyer, it doesn't always happen that way.
Well, actually, I think statistics are between 75 and 80% are always sold by another agent.
Right. So that 3% is to help bring another agent with a buyer.
Well, that 3% is an incentive
Or
for
2%.
the buyer's agent
2.5%.
to show your house. That's how we make money by the coordination of properties back and forth.
But here's the thing. Let's say I'm on the opposite side and I have the buyer. The buyer, in a roundabout way, is paying for their... There's something in the attic. Is paying for my fees.
Roof's coming in.
As a buyer's agent also. Because they're purchasing the house.
Mm-hmm.
If they weren't purchasing the house...
There's no money to be made.
Seller wouldn't have the money to pay the 6%, which was split between the two brokerages.
And what a lot of people are thinking is that, well, now the buyers are going to have to pay that 3% no matter what, okay? But like we were discussing earlier, a VA buyer can't pay that.
Yes. And they can't
By
pay
law.
by law. Per the federal government guidelines. So there's a whole booklet. When I say booklet, we're talking government. So there's rules and regulations when you're talking about any government-backed loan. Talk to your lender, they'll know more. But for a VA, there's all these things. And in there, don't ask me the exact guideline, code, number, whatever. Some people can spit it right out, I can't. It forbids a VA buyer to pay the realtor, agent, whatever you want to call us, a commission.
Right, and we have a ton of VA around here. You know, we've got Tinker, Air Force Base,
Oh, yeah.
FAA, all that stuff.
Retired, whatever. I mean, people,
oh, yeah.
I deal with VA all the time. So if I had a VA buyer come to me, and I wish we should have printed out a form. If we had a buyer-broker agreement and they came to me and they wanted to sit down, and we sat down and we went over this form, and I go over it now. Most of the time, when we go over it, we mark I will accept whatever percentage the seller's brokerage is offering.
Offered on the MLS.
Yes, on the MLS, which now we won't know, so I'll have to make those phone calls. Whether it's 2%, 1%, 2.5%, whatever, I'm fine with it. The only time it's going to be an issue for sell by owner, anything like that, then we come back and I explain that to him. We'll have a conversation. You know.
Well, that's the best way to deal with commissions in general.
Right.
Is have in-depth conversations with your buyers and your sellers. You know, just so everybody knows what's going on. There's a cost to everything, and I'm concerned how these flat fee brokers are going to be.
Well, and that's
all this
another
stuff.
thing. I work a lot with investors. You know, you do investment properties.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of other investors we work with. We have some that's had rentals, and their tenants have bought it, and they want someone knowledgeable to handle
Paperwork.
it for them in the paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
I offer flat fees to do that for them. Not everybody will do that. So there's a perfect example of it's not all set in stone. It's never has been.
But, the news just drives me nuts. You know, we were in New York, you know, doing our boat thing, and I'm watching the news up there, and they were putting out so much propaganda. Really,
Yes.
It's, you know, because they don't really know. You know, and a lot of stuff we still don't know.
No, we don't.
And I expect, because this is going, not only will it hurt real estate, but it'll hurt the mortgage industry something fierce. Okay, so I suspect that we will have some of our better lenders coming up with programs and plans
We gotta hope
to
so.
combat this. Otherwise, they're not going to make any money either.
Well, and I already have to have conversations with buyers because you're coming down, you know, unless you're doing a USDA or a VA, you gotta have down payment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's 3.5% VA or
FHA.
FHA. Thank you. I'm
5%
thinking
to
government.
20% on
Yeah,
conventional.
5 or up on conventional. That's a lot of money for some people, depending on what amount
It's a
you're
lot of
looking at.
money for
improving.
anybody in this economy.
Right. Then you gotta have home inspection, termite inspection, anything else. Earnest money, which of course your earnest money is gonna go towards the loan, but that's still money you would have up front.
Yeah, money out of pocket.
And now these people are freaking out. And especially first time home buyers. Now I gotta have 3% or whatever
Added
up
on
front.
top.
Up front, they can't do it. And us as agents,
Well, okay, let's just take a average house here in Mustang's like $275, but let's take a $200,000 house. 3.5%. That's going to be right at $7,000, plus another 3%. Going to be $6,000. So instead of having to come up with $7,000, now they got to come up with That's 13 plus inspections.
right?
Plus the earnest money. it's a $15,000 to $20,000 deal.
And let me explain to you. People think that we walk home with that 3%. Again, some brokerages are 100%. Not all brokerages are 100%.
Not really.
But nothing's ever 100%. So here we have a split. The brokerage, we have an office, they have overhead. I'm grateful because
E&O insurance.
E&O insurance, error and omission. And that's another thing. I can't work for free. Even if I wanted to help a VA buyer out and do it to help them, I can't because our E&O insurance wouldn't cover that transaction.
That's right. Well, there has to be consideration, and there has to be a certain monetary value, or just better off not to do it.
Well, and then you got to think about this. Would you work every day for free, or do you got bills and mortgages and food you need to put on the table at home too? So we got the same thing.
Same deal.
And I just did taxes, so I got to write the government, state and federal, some nice little chunk of change checks. So
Yeah.
we get to do that at the end of the year. So we get those. You see $7,000, and you're thinking, God, that's a lot of money, and y'all do 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever transactions a year. Y'all are getting rich. No, we're not. We have fees and dues and expenses we pay, whether we sell houses or not.
You know what the average realtor makes in this country? Average is $31,000 a year. That's less than a teacher.
I beat the average this year. Barely.
I beat the average first month.
Shush. You do commercial. Anyway, but the thing is, I was less than average after my deductions and expenses. Damn it. Oh, okay.
Well, our main thing is, don't freak out just yet.
No.
And let's wait until the dust settles on this thing.
And understand, you see $7,000, cut that in half at least because of expenses, taxes, whatever. Nobody's, the majority, 90% of agents aren't getting rich. We're just
95%.
Yeah. We're just making a living.
The whole 80-20 rule really applies in everything, but in real estate, 20% of the agents sell 80% of the houses. And that's just the way it is, can't swing a dead cat in this town without hitting a realtor. I mean,
I just had that
everybody and their dog.
conversation last night.
Yeah. Now this will weed out a lot of the not really real realtors, okay? And which that's kind of a good thing, but it also makes the industry less attractive to people that like the flexibility of the schedule, even though we seem to work all the dang time.
But I made the comment to my husband last night. We were talking, and I was like, I don't know if I could go back to a regular job because I made, before I took out all my deductions, I made more than I did working for the government, working 40 plus hours a week.
Right.
And I made what I made working for them.
And you're able to take a day or two off and go
and I have
deliver
more
your son to
flexibility.
college.
Yeah, or whatever.
All these other things. That's the attractive thing about real estate is the
have
flexible
some
schedule.
days where I'm working and I don't get home till 7:30, but I have other days where I'm home by noon.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can work from home doing paperwork and whatever.
Well, what it is, we'll be, the more we find out, the more we'll bring to you to let you know what's going on.
So definitely don't
just
panic.
don't freak out about it. Okay, now we're going to Hugo for the eclipse
Yes.
this weekend. I don't know if everybody's going to go do something special for the
That's
eclipse
in the
on Monday.
sliver of Oklahoma on the path where you get to see the full total eclipse.
I've never seen a full total eclipse in my life.
Because there's always just a path and it only
Right,
happens
there's always a
so
crescent shape or something, and we're going to be down there, right? What do they call it? Totality, where it's totally blocked out.
And there's
that's
maps.
pretty
It's
cool.
like a straight little sliver diagonal across the.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Oklahoma has called out the National Guard because they're expecting over 100,000 people
I don't know how they're
down
going to
there.
fit that in that little area.
Well, we, we booked this 6-8 months ago, something like that. We got camp spots at Lake Hugo, and
Barely got 2 camp spots.
Yeah.
Let's rephrase that. Barely
But,
got 2 camp spots.
a lot of stuff in Arkansas. They're actually closing certain highways because they're already dangerous highways.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just crazy what's going on. So it'll be interesting to see.
So if you're going or watching it, let us know.
All right, we probably ought to wrap it up.
Yep.
Got anything else?
No, but if y'all have any questions, ask.
Yeah.
Don't just assume.
Comment on this stuff.
We'll answer the best we can, and as we get more information, hopefully we'll have a ruling soon. But right now they're still negotiating and still
Yeah.
discussing. Nothing solid.
Yeah, and that's another thing
So-
frustrates me about the news. They're reporting this like it's fact.
And it's not.
Yeah, and it is not.
So
It's still a fluid situation. All right, well, I think we're going to bail out. We are WRME Live. We are Main Edge, where we do real life, real world.